Hey there, welcome to my live broadcast. Welcome to my live viewers, my replay viewers. If you don't know me yet, I'm Shanta Prince, and I help women coaches to build personal brands, create high ticket offers, and get paying clients. So, today I just want to talk about how to get better at anything when it comes to your business. Actually, this works for life in general, but I'm specifically talking about business because the more I work with women entrepreneurs and the more women entrepreneurs that I speak to on a daily basis, I'm starting to realize a pattern, and that is we tend to shy away from the things that we don't feel like we're good at. And some of those skills that we're shying away from because we don't feel like we're good at, we actually need those skills so that we can grow a successful business. And I say we because I've been there, I've done that, and I understand what it means to have something in front of you and it's so intimidating that you kind of shy away from it. And the other thing is, hey, Sherry, the other thing about facing the things in your business that you need to face is that every time you accomplish one thing and then you get to another level in business, guess what? Something else is in front of you that you have to face all over again. And so that cycle continues to grow, it continues to go because you're like, okay, I've got through one thing. Now I'm at a different level. Now I have to face this thing too. So you really have to develop the skill that you need in order to overcome that mountain. But what tends to happen is we kind of shy away from it because it's like, oh, I'm not good at that. And you just kind of stay stuck because you're not facing the things that you need to face. And so, one of the things about growing and really facing those things that you need to face is, first of all, it's about how you see yourself in that thing. So let's say for example you're afraid of sales because the way that you see yourself when it comes to sales is, well, first of all, I don't have a lot of sales experience, and I'm not that great at it. So if you feel that way, you're naturally going to want to shy away from sales. But the only way that you're ever going to get better at it is to lean into it and actually do the thing so that you can get better at it. So I'm just the messenger today to tell you that whatever that thing is that's in front of you, lean into it. And if you're struggling with sales or if you're struggling with marketing, soak everything up about it that you can, but also get into action. That is one of the fastest and best ways to learn. When I was in the Navy, we called it on the job training. I don't know what they call it in corporate, but we called it on the job training, meaning get out there and learn it while you're doing it. Instead of shying away and staying stuck, get into action so that you can learn while you grow. I always say, grow as you go. And that's what it's really all about. It's about that growth while you're putting in that action. So, on the topic of the Navy, when I was in boot camp, um, I struggled when I first started boot camp because I had a blast. Don't get me wrong, I had a blast in boot camp. After I got over that first week, I had an awesome time in Navy boot camp. However, there were some things that I struggled with because this whole thing was totally new to me. Now, one thing that I excelled at when it came to boot camp was marching because I was in marching band for about 6 years. And so by the time I got to boot camp, I was excellent at marching. However, there were a lot of things that were new to me. And so when I was in boot camp, every time you made a mistake, you had to get out and do push ups. So by the time I got out of boot camp, y'all, I was so strong because I made so many mistakes that I was always doing push-ups. I did push-ups in the parking lot. I did push-ups in the middle of the street. I did push-ups where we slept at, by my bed, everywhere, right? So I was always getting called out for something or for making some kind of mistake. By the time I got out of boot camp, I was in the best shape of my life. And before that, I had ran track and I was a cheerleader and I was a drum major and I was doing all of these things, but it wasn't until I went to boot camp that I got in the best physical shape of my life and mental shape. But as I continued in boot camp, those things I started to get better at those things. And I started to have an understanding and I started to learn and I started to grow and I got better and I got stronger and my mental toughness increased. And so I said all that to say it's the exact same way in business. The more you lean into the thing and the more you do that thing that's making you feel standoffish, you'll start to get better and you'll start to get stronger in it. Now, I'm not talking about the things that you know you need to be outsourcing or hiring somebody for. I'm talking about the things that you know that only you should be doing as the face of your brand. There's some certain things that you should be doing right now, and then there's some things that you're going to want to focus on outsourcing. I'm talking about the thing that makes you afraid to do because you don't feel competent. Okay. And the reason why competency is important when you're growing is because it's directly related to your confidence in that thing. So your competence is tied to your confidence. The more competent you become in that thing, then the more confident you become. But the only way you're ever going to get to that point is by actually doing it instead of shying away from it. So for you, what is it in your business that makes you say, "Oh my gosh, this thing scares me. I don't want to do it." This morning, this morning, my daughter told me at breakfast. She said, "Mommy, I have a math test today, and I don't want to do it." And I said to her, I said, "You can't go into the math test like that." I said, "You have to go into your math test knowing that you got this." She's been working really hard on her multiplication and working really hard on decimals. And so I told her, I said, "You have to go into this test saying, I got this. I can do this. I understand how to do this math." And I told her it's all about the mindset. Well, it's the same way when it comes to business. It's about your mindset. If you're looking at that thing and you're saying, "I'm terrible at this thing," you're gonna go into it and you're gonna be terrible at it, right? But that's just a part of business. It's starting out at that point where you're like, "I don't know anything," but diving into it and saying, "I don't really know how to do this yet, but I'm committed to learning and I'm committed to growing in this thing that makes me afraid or that makes me intimidated." When I got out of the Navy, I one of the things that I struggle with that you probably may not understand is figuring out what to do with my time every single day. You know how like a normal person, you wake up, you know what you got, what you're going to do for that day. You have your plan for whatever it is you want to accomplish during the day. Well, when I was in the Navy, we had that already laid out for us, right? We called it the plan of the week or the plan of the day. And so everything, when I went to work, everything was already laid out for me. I knew what time everything was happening. I knew where everything was happening. And all I had to do was follow the plan of the day. Well, when I got out, I struggled so bad because I'm like, my day is not planned out for me. What am I going to do with myself? What am I going to do with my time? And so I would think about like, what am I supposed to be doing? Even when I first started my business, I kept saying, what am I supposed to be doing? What should I be working on? And I was just kind of all over the place. And so I would pray about it and I would say, "God, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I should be doing." And I was just in a place where I just felt stuck and I felt frustrated because I just wasn't quite sure what to do with my time. And I heard this little small voice, and the voice said, "Do the things that make you afraid." Right. And of course, we know that was the voice of God speaking to me and saying, "Do the things that make you afraid." And I started thinking about the things that made me afraid. And I'm like, those are the exact things that made me afraid were the exact things that I was supposed to be doing. Getting in front of more people, getting booked on podcasts and engaging with people. And all of those things made me afraid. And I'm like, those are the exact same things that I should be leaning into and actually doing to grow my business to the next level. So think about those things around your business that you've been afraid to do or you've been kind of standoffish on doing and lean into that. Most of the time, that thing that's making you afraid or that thing that's making you intimidated, that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing. So think about those things that you know that you need to get done, but you've been hesitant on. I also want to encourage you to focus on that one thing. And I'm saying this, I keep using the example of sales because I know that this is where most women, coaches, mentors, and consultants struggle with when it comes to growing their business is they struggle with the sales part. So if it's sales for you, dive into it, consume everything that you can about it and practice, 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 practice at it until you get better. That is how you get better at anything you want to do in business or anything in life in general. And so it comes the a part of the growth comes with sucking at it first. And that's okay, right? Give yourself permission to suck at it because that's the only way you're going to be able to get better. Not by standing off or being standoffish, but by leaning into it and saying, "You know what? I'm diving into this thing. I'm committed to this thing. And I know that at first it's going to be hard. I might suck at it at first, but I'm committed to learning and practicing enough to where I can get better at this thing and become excellent at this thing, right? None of us wake up and or we're automatically great salespeople, right? We have to learn those skills, and then we have to work those skills. It's one thing to have the knowledge of something, but it's a completely different ball game when you have the experience of that thing. When you have the knowledge coupled with the experience, that's how you become great. That's how you become excellent. So don't sit on those things that you've been looking at like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna struggle with this. And so you stand off, right? But think about, okay, go into it with the mindset like, okay, in the beginning, yes, I'm gonna struggle at this because I don't really know what I'm doing yet. But I know that the more that I show up every single day and the more I practice at this thing, I'm going to become great at it. And that's how you're going to get better at it. And that's how you're going to be able to grow your business and take that thing to the next level. Okay. So give yourself today, give your permission to suck at that thing until you get better at it. And it could be different for you. For somebody, it may be sales. For somebody else, it may be doing live video. Maybe you know you're supposed to be doing live videos or pre-recorded videos, but you've been like, oh, I just can't bring myself to do it. It may be something that you have to practice at until you get better and better at that thing. For somebody else, it may be marketing. For each person, it's going to be something different. And then when you get to new levels of business, you're going to have something else that's going to be looking you in the face, and you're going to be looking at it like, oh my goodness, here's another mountain that I have to climb. But as we already know and understand, that's the nature of being in business. I always say that entrepreneurship is it's the biggest personal development journey that you're ever going to go on, because entrepreneurship brings up all of the issues. All of the issues start to come out and you start realizing, wait a minute, I really struggle with this. I need to figure out how to get through this or how to work on this so that I can be better at business, right? All of those life issues come up, but when you learn how to work through them, that's how you become the person that you see. I know that you have a vision of your future self, right? But there's a gap between where you are right now and who you know God is calling you to be. And the key to filling that gap is to leaning in and taking action until you get to the level of competency that boosts your confidence in that thing. If you're not competent in sales, then your confidence is going to be low in the area of sales. Okay. But the more you become competent in that thing, your confidence is going to go up. However, you don't get that if you don't step out and if you don't take the action, if you don't do the work. And so many people are so afraid to make a mistake or to do it wrong that they never do anything at all. That is not the way to grow a business. That is not the way to be successful in anything. But the way to be successful is to lean into that thing and do it and fail at it, suck at it until you can start increasing your competence. The more you do, the more you're going to learn. Yes, you're going to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. That's a part of the growth. Okay. That's what makes you amazing as a coach or a mentor or a consultant is your mistakes. Because guess what? People are going to pay you to help them to avoid those same mistakes. Right. So think about as we go into 2022, which I believe is going to be an amazing year. And think about those areas that you really need to focus in on and where you really need to put in some work and get committed to that thing. So, if you're interested in building a personal brand as a coach or mentor or consultant, if you want to create a high ticket offer, if you want to work on building your presence online, I would love to get on the phone with you for a free strategy call. Go ahead and send me a message and just say, hey, Shanta, I'm interested in setting up a call to you to talk more about my brand and creating my offer. Even if you have an offer, but it's just not working, maybe it's priced too low, or maybe you don't feel like that offer is suitable for your gifts and your expertise, I want you to reach out to me as well. Just send me a quick message. I'm on Messenger all the time. If you're not able to send me a message, you can send me an email at info@shantaprince.com so that we can get you scheduled for a free strategy call to talk more about the future of your business. Now is the time to do that, right? Before we head into that new year. All right. So that's all I want to talk with you about talk about today. I'll be back again to talk more about branding and business. If you've been following me, you know that I've been popping up live for the last few days just to chat with you about business. We're getting ready to roll into a new year. And now is the time to really start focusing and getting that momentum ready so that you can start the year off right. So right now, I told you earlier that I used to run track, right? There's a part of the race where you're actually I was a sprinter. So that means that when I start my race, I'm in a starting block. And so there's a time when you're in a starting block and you're waiting for that gun to go off so that you can take off running. Well, right now we're in the starting block for 2022, right? And as soon as this new year hits, it's gonna be time to take off and run for your destiny, right? And so if that's you, if you know you need to get focused, and you know you need to get some things in order for 2022 for your business, reach out to me for your free strategy calls so that we can talk. Send me a message. You can send me a direct message or you can email me at info@shantaprince.com. All right. Well, you have a wonderful day and I'll be seeing you again soon. Have a great one.